Okay, I'm going to show you Paint Can for the iPhone. So Paint Can is a free download from the App Store. Little icon looks like a paint can surrounded by an orange rectangle. When you open it up, first time you won't have anything, but I do have something on here. So I'm going to go up to the top left-hand corner and touch that. Looks like squares with some squares behind it and a right-facing arrow. I'm going to touch that, and I'm going to say Get Image, Load Snapshot. So I'm going to ignore this thing that is here, this image that is here, and just go straight to my photos. So when I see my selection, I can go to the album that I want, and let's say I'm going to use this image of Rebecca right here. So I have some tools here. It's not as full-featured as the iPad version, but there's a lot you can do. If you take a look down at the bottom, you can see there is a series of brushes. There's an eraser on the right. There's like a big blob on the left-hand side. So I'm going to start with the big blob. This is called Splat. And this is where you can just add a lot of shapes, very painterly looking. And this is where I do a lot of abstract paintings. You can make these look like landscapes, a variety of images I've created like this. Now, if I want something that looks more like a realistic painting, I go to the next brush, and as I swipe my finger all around, I can see it looks like a very blurry version of the photo. Then I'm going to go to the third one in, and you can see what that does to it. It puts a lot of kind of pattern-like strokes on there. Now, I can zoom in with a finger pinch, so I'm going to put those two fingers on the screen and hold them down as I move them apart. And as I do that, it is going to zoom in on certain parts of your image. So when I use my finger as a brush now, and I am zoomed in, you can see it's giving me a lot more detail. So I could add detail in just certain parts of the image. I could add detail all over if I wanted to. So that's another way of using this. Now I'm going into the fourth brush. This is a small fill, and it's very similar, but it's just giving you more detail. So the more detail you want, you might want to zoom in with that. And then the fifth one over, thick lines. It's going to give you a different kind of impressionistic look. And then finally, you have the smallest one. That'll give you thin lines. This is kind of fun. This will give you that impressionistic type feel as well. And again, anytime you zoom in, you're going to get the ability to make those strokes smaller. And then finally, you have an eraser, so you can go back and get rid of what you've done, and then you can start again. So that's basically how to use the tools. When you're finished, you can either create a snapshot by clicking the clock, and that's going to save it in your kind of like a little holding place here, so I can go back again and work on it. If I feel like it's good and I have everything the way I like it, what I want to do is I'm going to go over to the square with the pointing up arrow, which is pretty much the symbol in iPhone for sharing it out somewhere, and that is at the very top right hand corner. When I touch that, I can now save it to my camera roll.